What's going on, guys? So I am out in the rural, sparsely populated cornfields, all that kind of stuff. And this is my third attempt of making this video. The first time I got interrupted by crop dusters and pretty much sprayed. So went home, showered, washed my car, felt very blah from the psychological effect of chemicals, because that's how I am. I got a brand new battery, not a brand new, this has 70 cycles, but we're gonna go ahead and put this in the drone. So that's step one of flying, having a full battery for safety, one less thing to worry about. I have my iPhone, my RCN1 with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and what we're gonna talk about today, this is the third time, as I said, because the second time, my Osmo Pocket 3, that guy right there, stopped recording due to high temperatures. So I don't know, I'm gonna probably just put it on my floor and keep the air conditioning on. If you guys had issues with the Osmo Pocket 3, let me know, because that was the first time that happened. But what I wanna talk about for the third time, as I said, is active track and spotlight mode. So those two modes are something that I don't know a ton about. I've used active track a bunch riding my bicycle, and it's been super successful on my Mini 4 Pro. Haven't really done it with the Mavic 3 Pro with the bicycle, just because it's a little too much drone for bike paths and that kind of thing, in my opinion. And I've used spotlight mode on jobs with the Inspire 2 when I had that guy. I'm probably getting an Inspire 3 very shortly, yes. So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure exactly when, but probably within the next month or two. Gonna join with a friend of mine and get an Inspire 3 with the RTK and 3D Dolly and all that fun stuff. So fingers crossed if that manifests. I think it will. Check out my new website too. It's ATORT Aerials, atortaerials.com. Finally got that thing live. So it's gonna be refined, of course, but at least it's a presence and it's something up there for people to check out and find me. So with further ado, or no further ado, let's get into these two modes. Basically, I even called DJI support and asked them the difference between spotlight mode and active track. And I could tell she didn't really know much, and she basically Googled some documents or something and said, spotlight mode, I think, keeps the subject centered, but you have to essentially fly it. So if I go ahead and get in my car and put it on spotlight mode, the drone's not gonna move at all unless I physically get on my sticks and fly it. So spotlight mode to me is the lesser of the two modes. Active track, if you go ahead and enable that, essentially what will happen is you select your subject, which is the car for this example, and then you can choose where you want the drone to follow. So like left, right, front, forward, whatever, back, rear end, or whatever behind, rear end. And that's that. But we'll get into that a little bit more. But DJI really didn't know a ton about it. I didn't see a ton of good videos out there on this subject, so I figured let's walk through this together and see for the third time, hopefully 3 times all I need to do for this video. But we're gonna go ahead and launch this drone. So I'm gonna power on the Mavic 3 Pro. Again, got my 107. We're in a sparsely populated area, so I can drive or fly this thing really carefully and mindfully and pay attention and see there's no real issue. There's only a car on occasion coming through. So we can go ahead and get this guy going, and hopefully you, Pocket 3, does not overheat. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch the drone. You can see, bring it by me a little bit. Boo, 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 boo. There you are, the star of the show, Mavic 3 Pro. Whoop. So let's get this guy out over the corn. We're gonna throw it back into normal mode. Oops, shoot. And I'm gonna start a screen recording right now for the 900th time. And let's get back in the car and pray this thing does not overheat. So, okay, back in the car. And what I'm gonna do is just put this guy down there. I'm gonna throw some air on the floor, and I'm gonna pay attention to you because I was talking to myself for way too long, and that's not cool, Pocket 3, because I really do like you a lot. Cool little camera. So without further ado, making sure one last time we're screen recording, we are, And since I went through this 3 different times, I kind of feel I know a lot more, at least as far as what results in better footage. So I'm going to put on my right signal, make sure there's no cars. I'm going to hit park. I'm going to show you guys a couple things. So if you go into the right, the upper right, these 3 little dots, we can go ahead and go into control, and we could have subject scanning on. All that's going to do is basically scan for a subject such as my car. Where is my car? And it throws that little plus sign. So I can depress and press that plus, and it will give me the car and pull up the active track modes. Personally, I rather not have that on. I rather manually do that by dragging a little bounding box. So I'm going to depress subject scanning and turn that off. And all we need to do now is go, I see the drone, to the passenger side of my car. Let me go ahead and turn the air on a little bit more. There's a nice truck. That would be a cool truck to follow. Not really that clean looking though, but that's kind of what I did on a couple jobs in the past. Had really nice trucks for some petrol companies, and nerve-wracking with Inspire 2s, with everyone watching you flying in a production truck, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't really work that well with the Inspire 2, so you guys are aware. It wasn't something I felt, oh God, there's a crop duster way off in the distance. Please do not come in this direction. I'm getting ruined by crop dusters. They're just really wanting this video to not happen. So if I go ahead and draw a bounding box around my car, there we go. We got 3 different modes. We got active track, spotlight, and point of interest. I'm not going to mess with point of interest right now, but just let's go ahead and show you what happens if I go ahead and spotlight mode is enabled. I'm going to go ahead and put my car in drive, and I'm going to wait. I think there's another car coming. I don't know. Let him pass. And if I drive, let's see what happens. The drone just hangs back basically and is tracking me, but unless I put something forth with my input, like I'm pushing up on my right stick now, it's not gonna follow me. So essentially it's not gonna move unless I move it with control of my stick input. So I'm pushing up on my right stick, getting it over here, and we can see if we can get any footage. I'm just gonna go ahead and start recording, and I'm pushing up a little bit, like quarter stick input up on my right stick in normal mode, doing 20 miles an hour, and it's not really getting me what I want. So I'm gonna just stop that. I'm not gonna really even get into spotlight mode too much. I'm gonna go ahead and talk more about active track, because I definitely think that is the mode to mess around with more. Just know spotlight mode will not move unless you have stick input. It's gonna just track your drone and kind of yaw with it, and that's it. And keep the subject centered, like my car. So let me go ahead and get the drone over here to the right of me. I'm gonna put my signal back on. I can see the drone to the right of me. We want to update the home point every now and then, so I can go to safety and update home point to controller maybe.
Home
Boom.
point updated.
Now it's updated to where we're at. So what I can do now is go and let me get a better composition. I'm gonna get a little bit easier. The clouds are really nice, so let's get some of the sky in there. We have a filter on there, so I got an ND32 filter. So right now I'm shooting 4K 60, 1/20th of a second at 200 ISO, because let me see if I can get a little too dark at 100. So 200, and maybe I can go to f3.2, and we'll start there. I'm gonna draw the bounding box around my car. You are still recording, Osmo, good job. I'm gonna depress active track. And if we do this, I'm in manual mode. If you actually go to that little car icon, you can swipe left and it says parallel mode. Whoop. Or you can go right and manual mode. I personally don't know exactly what parallel mode does. I tried it and I'm hoping it recorded something. If it did, I'll insert it here. If not, that means my Pocket 3 was not recording my voice. So I'm going to depress active track, and I want it to go to the passenger side of the car. So not that, come on. So the only thing that's frustrating, it wants to somehow choose spotlight a lot. So active track, right side of my car, depress it again, go. So it shows active track is selected because it's in yellow. I'm going to turn off my signal. I'm going to hit record, put my car into drive, and I'm going to do, basically, I'll set my cruise control to, let me see, like 18 miles an hour. And that's the shot that I'm kind of wanting. So 18 miles an hour, 17 miles an hour, good framing, and it's pretty much doing a good job. So this way better, in my opinion, than spotlight mode. It feels very reliable to get what you kind of want. Sometimes the drone will kind of do its own thing before it locks into the right side that you select and get the correct framing. So here we go, we're still cruising. And yeah, that does pretty well, right? So let's go ahead and try. Okay, I'm gonna stop all this. The corn right now, we got corn obstacles, but the corn is kind of rolling, so it gets higher in elevation a little bit. So sometimes if I'm really low like that, it's stopping and kind of losing subject on my car. So let's go ahead and see where I'm at again. Maybe we can even try some framing like this, just like a weird, no, please do not be around here, crop duster. So I'm gonna try to be on my right side again. And I'm gonna start recording, and I'm gonna pay attention to what's going on with this crop duster. Even in the rural, in the middle of corn, see, it's in spotlight mode again, and it doesn't move as you see. So I'm gonna get out of that and try to see where I'm at. Dun, 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 dun. Don't crash the drone. So that's some of the things I've had issues with, is thinking it's in active track and it keeps on wanting to go into spotlight mode. I kind of wish spotlight mode would just disappear and go away forever. So active track, right side of my car, depress that again. I guess you press the middle and it will go away. Hit go. Active track is now selected, and I'm going to go ahead and see what happens and drive slowly in my little Prius, which is basically all this Prius can do. So let's see if it gets the framing that I wanted. I think we had corn only. And if it's not getting the framing, I'm gonna go left on the gimbal wheel and bring it down, and we can control that and say that's the shot I want. I'm kind of okay with that. Maybe we only need 5 seconds of footage like that. Boom. But as you see, that's kind of reliable to me. So active track seems way more reliable to get a shot that you actually want and can get hired for on a job and use it as a tool as opposed to spotlight. So here, let's go ahead and try the different lens options on this bad boy, Mavic 3 Pro. We got 3 lenses, right? We got a 3-time lens. We have a 7-time lens. Oop, Mr. Gimbal fell. Hold on a second. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. And so we have the 1-time 24, we got the 3-time 70, and we have the 7-time, which I think is 164, 166. I know they changed millimeter slightly on the 3 and the 3 Pro, but either way, basically a lot of zoom, and that zoom, the 7 times, is not able to be used in active track. So if we go ahead and go, let me fly the drone a little bit over here, lower it a little, and if I go in the 7-time lens, watch what happens. Boom, 7 times. There's my car. Ooh, aren't you sexy little car? and I go ahead and depress it or draw a bounding box. If I hit active track, it says active track unavailable when using current camera. So boom, he didn't wave back, unfriendly trucker. So we're gonna go ahead and revert to the 3-time lens. So just be aware, 7 times is not available in active track, so I just avoid it. That probably would be a tough lens to use anyway. And let's try to find a cool composition with this 3-time lens. So I don't know, let me see, really low maybe? That or that? Or let me go a little further back. Maybe that. We'll just try. So again, 4K 60. We're at 1/20th of a second. I'm a little... So I'm 4/20th of a second. Maybe I can go to 1/60th of a second. Let me see, 1/20th. We should be all right. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to draw the bounding box around it with my finger, depress active track, and now I want to be on my passenger side. So I'm going to depress that, hit left, hit the middle icon, and hit go. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button. And now it's raising the gimbal for some reason. And I'm going to see what happens and see if it does the right framing. But remember, I can go ahead and control the gimbal still. So I'm going to go and use my cruise control. Boom. I'll set it to 18 miles an hour. Whoop, come on. There, I rolled the gimbal down a little bit to get that framing. And to me, if this was a job, I would be content with this shot. And knowing if they said, like, you need to do something else, that's another story, because you are relying, like, that's a cool shot just as is. Let's see if it kind of finds my car again. Oh, no. So I'm going to stop, click out of that little thing, and I am going to find where I'm at. There I am. Hello, little car. So let me get... The rolling cornfield is a little tough, and we're gonna get over here. Flying my drone with my car. Whoop, crop duster I see is coming around, and that may be the end of the video if this guy keeps on going really closely. Can you see that? Hold on a second. Yeah, you can see that. See him? I don't want any part of you, buddy, for multiple reasons. You're a manned person in a plane, and you are spraying. Let's try to get some footage of him really quickly. I can see the drone right here, so it's not obviously in harm's way. Do-do-do-do. Have you ever seen these guys spray? Now you have. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to get chemicals sprayed on me. Don't want to be anywhere near an aircraft that low doing a video. So we're going to do one little thing. I see him off in the distance, and I want to just try one more shot and show you basically what I think the best mode is, or the best usage of this active track is, or these modes are. I would avoid spotlight. You can play around with it. You can play around with point of interest. Obviously do your thing. I'm not saying you can't get a good shot with it. I'm sure you can. But I think for reliability's sake, let me go ahead and go over here. Where am I? Where are you, car? There we are. So just that kind of shot right there is a shot that I think is very cool and very nice. Hit active track. Oh, I'm in 7 time, that's why. Okay, so get out of that lens. Go to 3 time, move the drone physically closer, circle my car, depress that, go to the left side of the car, select the little middle, hit go, and now we're going to go ahead and cruise a little bit. No cars around, no planes around, and let's just kind of go and depress. My car is going 17 miles an hour. Let it get around to the side, and I may have to tweak it by rolling the gimbal down and aiming the framing or getting the framing that I actually want, like that. And that's pretty cool. So there's a shot that I think I could actually use and play with on a job. And if someone wanted something like this, I think this is a reliable way. I'm going to push back a little bit on the right stick and see if I can get a little more distance, and then lower the camera again, and let's see if it kind of comes around. A little wider framing. And that's very cool to me. I don't know how it's going to look. You let me know how it looks in the comments below, but I think a pretty cool use of this drone and the tracking feature. Let me know what you guys think, pros and cons to each, and if you want another video, or if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, hit the like button, and thank you guys for tuning in, and let me land the plane and not get sprayed. Okay, bye guys.